What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Flash Season 7, Episode 5 breakdown, recap, and review. We had some stunning Easter eggs and reveals of new characters this episode, and while the story of Fuerza and Psych is being adapted a bit differently to the comics, I am enjoying the DC Rebirth and later DC Universe stories being adapted here. Now, they're going the MCU route of adapting the newer stories, which is really smart to push sales of the newer comics and graphic novels. Now, Season 7 continues to be really fun so far. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please do drop a like down below and subscribe with notifications on. We open with Barry watching the replay of himself being wrecked by the monster from last week that killed Abracadabra. Rest in peace, I am going to miss you. But the actor is going to be in The Suicide Squad by James Gunn, so swings and roundabouts, folks. Now, luckily, he has a way to track it by using geometric or isometric or, hey, last week I did say the science really confuses me, and we also continue with the two Caitlins as Barry sees two of them, and we learn what happened in more sciencey stuff, as the light gun the Mirror Monarch used on them replicated and accelerated Killer Frost's cryo cells, allowing her to exist. Now, I want to know, how did Caitlin have to expel this from her body, or did she just warp next to her? That's now a thing which I actually quite like, and Danielle Panabaker nails being two people, and it looked quite seamless, to be honest. She is a really good actress and one of the real strongest parts of this show. However, they discussed last week's mega monster, and it's named Fuerza. Now, Fuerza, which I'm probably pronouncing incredibly incorrect, and I do apologise, looks wildly different from the comic book counterpart. The comic book version is Alexa Antigone, which I've, again, probably pronounced wrong, I'm sorry, from Corto Maltese, who became a conduit of the Strength Force and fought against corruption and the government. Hey, we could use someone like that in the UK. She came head to head with the Flash, thinking he was here to take her out, but actually, she's a very new addition, debuting in 2019 as part of Barry going around the world to find out more about these other forces. However, the storm pops off and we get Nora Allen, but wait, it's actually the Speed Force's version of having a human manifestation. Now, throughout the course of the show, we've had some really cool parts where Barry is actually inside the Speed Force, and the Speed Force is in serious danger here in a coma and goes to the safest place it knows, Star Labs. From the ending, we learn that Fuerza and Psych are behind the damage to the Speed Force, but I imagine that will be explored a lot more in the coming episodes. However, we have a whole arc with Cecile seeing ghosts and visions, but it's because she's being used as a lightning rod, for lack of a better term, for Psych, and the fear being used in the city as he enacts his plans. But we meet Kristen Kramer as Joe talks about this to Iris. We later learn that she is out for the fugitive killer Frost, and that's why Frost's fears of being captured in this episode were actually explored, and I wonder if they have a basis of truth to them happening down the line. However, Kristen is a character from the comics, and when Barry was transferred as a punishment to work at Iron Heights, she worked with him there as a CSI. But it's a bit of a change here, and they are changing things and chopping up everything here. Now, a B story here does focus on Killer Frost, as Cisco is working on the Firestorm Matrix, and boy, this episode, we had Savitar, Firestorm, and the Thinker all referenced. Very cool. Now, Cisco is going to use it to merge the two Caitlins back together, and I thought this was a really good subplot, as it could have been really cringe like the Council of Wells, which in my house we cannot stand that whole storyline, but it worked very well. Now, Cecile talks to Barry just as Psych is attacking, and we get some Crow's security victims, of course. They are from Batwoman, and I wish we had more crossovers across the shows, especially as they're all on the same Earth now. Just tiny little things here and there like the MCU. I do feel like the interconnected nature of the Arrowverse has really taken a backseat ever since Crisis. but they're being made to think that they're in a gigantic Godzilla monster, which made me laugh as today is the release date of Godzilla vs. Kong, and you can go and check out my review on my channel. Now, it did look like a Dominator from the Invasion crossover on steroids, but Barry is affected too, and Savitar stabs him, and boy, that was cool. He stabbed in the exact same way that Iris was stabbed, and man, what a season that was. Now, Psych is also in the comics as he uses the Sage Force, which gives him mental powers. He is Bashir from the nation of Zandia, and Barry met him just like Fuerza on his Force quest. However, he was killed when the Black Flash wanted to take all of the forces. We are still yet to meet Steadfast, the user of the Still Force, and I imagine that will come very soon. We then learn how Frost messed with the Firestorm Matrix as she doesn't want to merge again, and I found it weird how Caitlin would want it but doesn't want to be a part. It just seemed like unneeded drama, as Psych is hitting the bank once more and the crew have mental dampeners similar to the ones used for Killer Shark, but they are still hurt by nightmares as Barry sees something worse than Savitar as he sees all of Team Flash dead and defeated along with his wife, and Killer Frost saw her worst fear of being captured as Barry tries his lightning, but Psych just absorbs it. So Barry later has the great idea of unleashing the Thinker'S chair to broadcast Cecile. Now, I didn't like how her not turning into DeVoe's emotionless version wouldn't happen because Barry was like, yeah, dude, trust me. But Psych dematerializes, but he is going to return later this season, as of course we haven't uncovered who he is. Things are changing here, and I like the fact that it's all different for me who have read the comics, and it's nice here. It's a very cool thing when things do that. But the Speed Force is all now fixed, and Barry has to recharge in the cryo chamber. However, Nora Allen's Speed Force says how these forces attacked her, and it seems like they've merged the storylines of Rebirth with people getting the Speed Force powers in Rebirth, where we had Star Labs to be used as a training facility, but, well, they got different forces instead. To be honest, it's starting to get a bit too far from the comics, and I would like that they just kind of go a bit more in the comic book direction, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless. And Killer Frost is also being hunted, as this is a knockout season thus far, and I hope they don't make it too complicated like they usually do. But that is it for this video. Please do drop a like down below. Please do subscribe with notifications on. Do check out my Godzilla vs. Kong video once you've watched the movie. And I'm off to go have some dinner and play some Animal Crossing. Have a nice one, and do always have good vibes out there. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.